everyone. Oh my gosh. I'm back. Internally screaming. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, welcome to Afrolit podcast hosted by me, Ekua PM. It's really crazy. It's really crazy that I'm back. But you know what? We're just gonna hop right into things because that's what we're doing this season. Of course, you can see we're in a brand new space. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's like, oh my God, we've leveled up. But wow, the life that I've had to life in order to get to this point is insane. So make sure to just stay tuned and follow along. So, allow me to reintroduce myself on my Jay-Z type of flow. Not even. Listen, life. The way that life has taught me lessons, I just feel like you have to stick with me this whole season because they're just going to unravel as we go. But really and truly, I can't believe a year has passed since my last episode. Actually it is embarrassing, but it actually is just a matter of time passing and me not realizing. Shout out to time blindness.
I cannot see. I'm legally blind. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm innocent.
Actually, that's not a good thing to shout out, but we move. But honestly, I just think that time is made up in the mind, but we all stick to it. And so, like, that's why it matters. You know what I mean? Like, it's all a mutual societal rule. I just wish we could apply that same energy to money. So it's like, imagine if we could all live for free, all, you know what I mean? Like, do some barter stuff and we all have like penthouses. Like, that would be such a vibe. But here we are paying all these bills. And that's how, listen, like, that's why I had to take a break because making content, podcasting is money. Like, let's not even front. Like, content creation now in 2022 is all about bread. And I'll get into why, you need to support your girl. But it was just a matter of really coming into myself and realizing that, okay, I know that I have something that I want to share and I need to get very clear on what that is. And so that then brings on the question, why are you still podcasting? Why do you feel like you need to enter into this space? And honestly, I think I want to say half of the year, or like not even half of the year, but like after I finished because the last episode, for those who don't know, was the 2021, like what we're leaving in 2021 and what we're bringing into 2022. And I think just reflecting on that episode and even thinking about like the things that I knew that I wanted to like do better, or the things that I knew that I wanted to even just pursue, like podcasting was there, but I just knew that that was surrounded by so many other complications, for lack of a better word, because it does take, resources. It does take prior planning. And honestly, I was tired. I was just tired of being a one-man band, one woman band, one woman show. Like, even though I am still a one woman show, but not like that. More in like how do I do this all by myself? How do I be the front end and the back end? Like, it's just too much, like, to carry that burden. And so I took time away to really get clear on who can I bring on and how can I be more resourceful with how I do things. How do I want things to look? I think, also I was doing the virtual thing, for those who stuck beside me in 2021. And listen, the way that the sound was jiggy-jagging and the voice and the video was just doing a lot, and then seeing all of that come into fruition, it was just not the place that I wanted to showcase, or the things that I wanted to showcase. And I think that also ties into, I do have a bit, not even a bit, but I do have perfection paralysis. But I also knew that I wanted to get it to a certain level, because we deserve, like, it's Afro lit. Like, it's not just, Afro basic. Like, it's something good. So I'm really trying to showcase that. And I wanted to make sure that I can like bring all the energy and like really put 150% into something that I love because I care about these stories. And so I went all the way around, but basically, as you can hear or as you're listening, I know that I have a voice. I know that there's something to be shared, especially because we have so much talent within Africa, within the diaspora. And I do feel like there needs to be a platform that highlights that fully, thoroughly, gets into the depths and the crux of it. I think that there's, people that I want to bring on the show that you're going to hear this season. There's stories that need to be told. There's fun that needs to be had. There's trivia we're going to get into. Like, there's so much more that the show can bring. And so I'm just excited to have all of that. And so I think it's important, even, whoever is listening, or just even for my own self, like I think that it's okay to take time to build the things that you love. I think that we are constantly just in this like machine where we feel like we just have to keep producing or we have to keep creating. And it's like, that's not how true art is really made, like it's just something that we just need to take time in. And so I was giving myself that time. I mean, I kind of gave myself a lot of time, but it was the time that I needed. I think, God made everything work out in his time so that I can also get clear on like who I am in this space and who I want to continue to present, which is of course myself, but really understanding myself too, and it's like that again ties into how do I have to build a plan in order to know what looks good and what doesn't work for Afrolit. And so it's like, okay, what does success look like to me? Like how do I want this to, what award would I want you all to clap for that I win? And it's just like, yeah, I want to thank my mom and dad and God and all this stuff. And it's like, for me, that is, well, you, whoever is listening, to really understand and be a part of this journey. But also, I'm trying to get to 1 million followers. Like, let's be very, very real. Okay, so you got to tell your friends, you got to tell your mom and dad to subscribe. Like, come on. Like, yeah, but, and obviously that's half joke, but I think that it's just to see, I don't think we see enough Black joy. I think that we need to embrace that in all formulas, all ways for women, for Black women. And I think that this can be a platform that brings that. I want this to be, sunshine. That's why I'm wearing yellow. I'm going to bring all those energies and all those vibes so that someone who may not necessarily be feeling like that can now leave with that experience. I think that we underestimate how much like the things that we listen to actually impact us. And if that happened on a regular basis, that would be amazing, So I think for me, that's really what success looks like. But most important, well, not also most importantly, but also what's important is that we're trying to hit some bars, So joining the YouTube Black Creator class would be another excellent metric to hit. I also think that, just being authentically myself and making sure that people can see what that looks like too. So, joining on the journey, joining on this path that we're going on together, I think that's what's really most important. And so, yeah, I'm just excited to see what new life comes out of this. I think every season that I've embarked on, I've learned something new about all the different people that I brought on. I've learned something new for myself. I've learned something new about even what the community is doing. And so like, this is something that I'm all about embracing. I'm all about enjoying. I'm all about just understanding as well, So it's a we thing, it's not a me thing. But, we're doing something new, We're in this space, we're vibing. And so, yeah, with that, we should get into a little bit of an icebreaker, just to cut the noise, cut all of the enough about me, right? Like what else is happening in the zeitgeist? So I have this new segment. It's called As Seen on Social Media. And basically, what we're gonna do is get into a little bit of the what's happening in the world and what's happening in just the zeitgeist of what we enjoy, you know? So I'm hopping on to Black Twitter. And in one of the first tweets that I saw, actually, we'll say this term, because by the time you're listening to this, it might be old, but it was still relevant. So bear with me. I saw Stormzy's new video. First of all, I don't know who Mel is, but whoever she is, listen, she brought all the energy. Like, to me, I feel like Stormzy is the UK's Drake. Like, every time he drops a visual, it breaks the internet. And this time he was able to bring so many amazing UK creatives with him. So he had Nella Rose, shout out to her. He had the guys in No Signal, and even the ladies from No Signal. He had Tiana Major, I believe. He had, just so many different people. Oh, and of course, Jose Mourinho was literally in the video. Like, it's insane. I don't know whose budget that was on. It was definitely, maybe it was his, because, you know, he got bread too. But yeah, like, that was insane. So if you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. And we can drop all these tweets will be in the show notes so that you can go see it yourself. And yeah, the other tweet that I saw that was hilarious is this. So Twitter has this phenomenon where it'll be like random photos that like have people's like that are related to whatever a song lyric or whatever a person is. And so in this situation, it was a picture of T.I., but his real name is, you know, Tip, as people, or I think that's his government. I'm actually not too sure if that's his government name. But anyways, so it's a picture of him 3 times. And then the tweet says, on hardwood floors, because it's Beyonce's Tip, Tip, Tip on hardwood floors. Oh my gosh. Renaissance will never die. Like, by the time you're listening to this, just know that I've listened to Renaissance probably 700 times since it dropped. I don't know what Beyonce did, but listen, she was able to make sure that this album is going to break every single record that she's ever made with music. Like, it's just insane. And yeah, I'm sure by now, if you haven't listened to it, I don't know where you've been. I don't know where you've been. Like, you need to get on Renaissance. And I think by this time, there should be so many different remixes. I'm waiting to hear like a proper like Afrobeat remix. I haven't heard one yet of any song on Renaissance. I feel like Energy could be the one, you know. I mean, Energy is definitely, you know, shout out to my producer Amanda, who said that that is an Afrobeat song. But, you know, it's there-ish. It's like halfway there. It's not there. You know, we need like a proper, like, imagine if we got like a band, if we got like a group. Imagine a Burna Boy remix. But he doesn't really do. Actually, he did a remix. Songbo was a remix. But anyways, if I predicted the future, listen, we're going to take that and you'll see it if I predicted what is going to happen. But I do feel like we'll get an Afrobeat-ish remix of a song, if not yet. And then lastly, I just feel like karma has a good way of always showing itself. And so this tweet, I don't even pay attention to Love and Hip Hop like that. But this was hilarious because it was Safari on some like Love and Hip Hop reunion. And he threw a chair. And I guess he got so mad that it hit himself. And I just feel like sometimes when you act out in rage, you need to really be careful because you actually might end up hurting yourself more than you actually end up hurting someone else or, you know, making a grandiose statement with your anger. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So be careful with your anger. Be careful with what you do. Be careful with how you say things. Be careful. Yeah, just be careful, you know? You could really get hurt in trying to do things that are just crazy. But on that note, wasn't that fun? See, now you get a little, now if you didn't know anything that was happening in the world, I've just given you a little razzle-dazzle, a little sprinkle. And so now that we've gotten all of that sorted, what is this season even called? What is the name of this season? Why am I doing this? And for me, I feel like this is truly going to be the season of vulnerability because indeed the pressure is getting worse.
The pressure is getting worse.
And so what does even season of vulnerability even mean? Like, what does that even look like? And honestly, I'm not even 100% comfortable with that, if we're being real. I like went back and forth. I went back and forth with myself. I went back and forth with my producer on should we really name this season of vulnerability? And honestly, I feel like I had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable because as much as I am in the front of things, I do actually like being in the background. Like I do like supporting those who know exactly what they want to do and live in all these different positions and know exactly how they want to show up in the world. And for me, it's like, okay, I've dibbled and dabbled in PR and now we're doing content. And now it's like, oh, yeah, you got to be whatever. But that's not always who I am. Like, really, so I did that test where you understand your attachment style. And I realized that I'm avoidant anxious. And that makes a lot of sense. So if I've ever I'm not a ghoster, but I am a leave a loner. So it's like I'll come back at some point, but it might be in like 5 months. So if I've done that to you, I'm sorry. It was my attachment style. Don't blame me. But honestly, I've learned that through that, I've just been really like anxious with these things. And I've just tried to get better at learning that. I've tried to get clarity on how I can deal with that. But at some points, I've also just accepted that this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be. And that's really okay. And sometimes it's like, I think growth is also understanding that this is who you are and this is how you will show up for a period, but you're working on it and you're improving on it. And so I just had to get cool. I'm getting cool with that. I'm not 100%. And like I said, it's getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. So it's getting through these different emotions, and yeah, we may break a sweat sometimes in this series, in this emotion, but I think that's also a part of being human. And that's what I really want to get and have for the guests that come on this show. I want people to feel that human connection, most importantly, but at the same time, representing for us, representing for Kenya, representing for Africa, representing for how I show up in New York. I think that there's these juxtapositions that we all kind of sit in life, and it's all a matter of making sure that we can just showcase that, showcase the 360. It doesn't always have to be like sections or 180, we can showcase all of that. And so that's really what I want people to think about. I mean, the main question for me is, why do certain things make you uncomfortable? And even in that in uncomfortability, what are you going to do with that? Like as my South Africans would say, it's and then. So with that being said, I mean, I'm not letting the pressure increase, okay? We're not going to let that happen. We're just going to enjoy what's going on. We're going to let this season happen. We're going to build as we go. We're going to vibe as we vibe and understand that at the end of the day, it's all about making sure that the crux of it is that you have fun. This is, yes, there may be some moments of, I don't know, but it's all about enjoying. It's all about listening. It's all about having, I want you to have a good time. It's a good time. You're going to put this on, whatever you're doing, whether you're cooking, whether you're in the gym, there's going to be some music. Like, it's going to be a vibe. So I hope that as you listen to this, as you experience this, as you watch this, you learn something new. And please tell me, use all of the socials that Afrolit has. We're available everywhere. So you literally can't avoid me. Like you have to, if you're going to be in this, you have to be committed. That's the thing. We're 100% in. We're within. Okay. We're not leaving. So at the end of the day, I hope that this experience is something that you find yourself in, really. And just as I'm and my team are pouring into this, I feel like you will experience that as you watch this because we're going to have fun with it. And so, yes, your homework is don't forget about the Patreon. Make sure to subscribe to me on everywhere you can find podcasts. So that's on Spotify, if you listen on Apple, or if you watch this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to know. Because I'm going to, at some point, we'll meet you and I'll see your name. And then if it's not there, it's just like, what was this? Why did we do all this? And if you're not even enjoying, you're not even actually doing what you're supposed to do. Like, you're not following your end of the stick. I'm doing my part. You know what I'm saying? So make sure to do that. Make sure to also subscribe to us or follow us on TikTok. And yes, a solo episode done. Wow. You really got through this with me. I appreciate you. And I'll see you on the next episode. Bye. Become an Afrolit crew member. Okay, so that was my little intro. But so you see this new place and you also hear the crisp sound. But guess what? This takes some bread, some agege bread, some dollar bills, honestly. And I truly need your support with this. So become an Afrolit crew member. You can join us by joining Afrolit's Patreon page and hitting the comments there, joining at different tiers. It is to your choice, but it would make a huge difference. It will support the starving artist team. No, I'm kidding. But we're not starving, but it will definitely help us create more content, special content. You can get early content. You know, we're trying to stay up in this game. So what you're going to do is you're going to go right now, click that button so that you can join us. Thank you in advance. And yes, see you soon on the other Patreon side.
Okay. You had a little, it's cute.